Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Just a minute, I'm just going live. Okay, just put this in mute. Okay, done. Okay, so let's start and let people join as they come in. I see a new name, Pranav. Hare Krishna, Pranav. Hare Krishna, Pranav ji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Acha. Now, before okay, maybe let me finish the Mangala Charana and then I'll get to that. Hare Krishna, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjala Shalakaya, Chakshurum Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale, Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swa Padantikam, Vande Aham Shri Guruhu Shri Yutapada Kamalam, Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha, Shri Rupam Sagarajatam, Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadavaitam, Savadutam Parijana Sahitam, Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostue Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanustute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhobhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. So thank you so much for joining us today for Bhakti Shastri Module 2, Chapter 7. So last week we had done from verse 1 to around verse 7, I think. So we'll start from verse 7 today, because then the logical way of, relating to what we are going to read onwards from 7.8 will become easier. So we'll do that. But before that, I want to do something. I want to ask you all.
Mataji, I think we did till 7.6.
Oh, 7.6 is it? Okay, great. So we'll start from 7.7 today. Okay, that's what I wanted. Okay, thank you, Prabhuji, for the confirmation. So your scores have come in partly, but I'll share it only when it comes in full. Some names I just want to know. There is one Mataji's name, Dhanalakshmi. Who's Dhanalakshmi Mataji? Is she attending module 2?
No, Mataji, she is not in this batch.
Acha, because her name is here. And the other, another name which I see is also one Mr. Shukanta Shorkar.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
So it's me. So my legal name is Sukanta Sarkar. I asked to change it to this name.
Acha. So Shankar Navatar Prabhu.
Shankar Navatar, yeah.
You're Shankar. Okay, you're Shukanta Sarkar also. Okay, then. Because in some thing, that's a doubt that they had, so they asked me. So I will send them this. Is there any other doubt they had? One was Dhanlakshmi Mataji was there. And Radha Mataji, she's attending, right?
Radha.
In Radha. She's I think she did a shloka. Her shloka.
Yes.
She's not coming, no, module 2?
Yes, class is not attending. Module 2 she is not attending.
Yeah, so that means, so they asked me if there are 8 people. So there are 8 people. I just read out the names of the first module names that they have sent me. They said, Seema Thakurji, then Sujit ji, you're there. Then, of course, Shukanta Sarkar Prabhu, Shankarshan Avatar Das Prabhu is there. Swapnil Patel Prabhu, you're there?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Bhupali Das Mataji, you're there?
No, she is not in module 2.
Acha.
No, she joins. I think she joins, but today she is not there. But I believe she joins.
Oh, okay, done. Hare Krishna. Ramchandra Das Prabhu.
Mataji, yes, Mataji, I am there.
Prabhuji is there. Then Anukula Seva Das Prabhu.
Yeah, he joins. Mataji, he joins.
Okay. Swati Dange Mataji is there. Okay, she is the one who reminded us last week also. So thank you, Mataji. You're there, right? Did she join today? Yes, she's there. Okay, great. So Prabhuji, you are posting the thing, no? Because they said for module 1, looks like the attendance, I don't know, they don't have the attendance record is what they said.
So last 2 classes, Mataji, I am sending that attendance.
Please, Prabhuji, yeah. Plus, Prabhuji, you keep the attendance, you give it to me, when we finish module 2. So, there you go. You're the co-host now. Okay.
Okay, Mataji.
So, thank you so much for this clarification because this is something which they asked me to clarify today. So, we have done that. Start with today's session. Can you see my deck, Hare Krishna?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, great. So finally, I learned the trick with the new Zoom. Okay, great. Okay, we'll do the Mangalacharana to Vedavyasri and then to Krishna, and then we will start today's class. Okay. So, Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Fullara Vindaya Patnaptaya Patra Netre Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajvalito Jnanamayaha Pradipaha Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vaitraika Panaye Jnana Mudraya Krishnaya Gitamrita Duhe Namaha Hare Krishna. So we'll jump straight to 5.7. So with the mercy of Guru, Gauranga, all you blessed devotees here, I will start the class today. That is the play. Okay, so in this section, 7.6 to 7.12, I'm sure many of you must have read these verses. So 7.6 to 7.12, Krishna tells us who is Krishna. So Krishna says, he reveals himself. So who is Krishna, right? So, there is this person, this Gwala, this cowherd boy, who now is a charioteer of the greatest archer of the world, Arjuna. He's been giving him all this jnana or jnana. Obviously, this is a doubt that will come to anyone's mind, and Arjuna specifically because he is in a very deluded state. And here as Krishna also tells him that I have always been there, and you have been there in the past also. And all the people who are here have been there in the past, they are now, and they will be in the future as well. And he says, I know the past, I know what is going to be in the future, and I know the present as well. Whereas you, Arjuna, you don't know many things because you are covered under Maya. He doesn't say you're covered under Maya, but he says you don't know, but I know everything. So now Krishna is going to reveal himself, and he's going to, also accentuate the reasons why we have to respect all the energies of the Lord. The Lord talks about his inferior energy, he talks about his marginal energy, and he also talks about who he is, the spiritual energy of the Lord. So the Lord conveys the message to us that he is in everything. So which means we have to be mindful. We have to be extraordinarily careful in how we use the resources that the Lord has so kindly given to us, whether it's matter or of any of the other energies in the form of, our intellect, which is the prized possession of this human body. So it is kind of, that's the beauty of the Bhagavad Gita. It doesn't tell you it doesn't say do this, don't do this. If you read any of the other scriptures, I'm not going to take the name, but any other scripture that you take, it says do's and don'ts. Do this, this will be good. God will be pleased. Don't do this because you will go to hell. The Bhagavad Gita, the reason why the Bhagavad Gita appeals to the whole world is it is not prescriptive. It only gives you an idea of what things are and therefore how we must engage in every activity where we get an opportunity to indulge in. So now, when you read the next set of shlokas, you'll be amazed with the simplicity with which the Bhagavad Gita guides us to everything that is around us. Okay. So 7.7. I think 7.6 also being read. Huh? So the Lord says, I'm sorry, repeating 7.6 just for the sake of continuity. I think we read the purport of 7.6, Prabhujis and Matajis?
Yes, Mataji, we finished till
So,
7.6.
we will not read the purport, but we'll just read the shloka and we'll move on. So in 7.6, the translation goes, all created beings, the Lord is saying here, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, all created beings have their source in two natures. Of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world. Know for certain that I am both the origin and dissolution. This is a very, motherhood statement. A very, very broad statement. So what does it mean? That he's going to explain in 7.7. What does he say? So we get to understand more about the Lord from these verses onwards. Mataha parataram nanya kinchit asti dhanan jaya mai sarvam idam protam shutre mani gana iva. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth that is superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls strung on a thread. Very, very powerful statement. In fact, there are some very, very evolved people who can do probably 4-hour session on this verse. So he says, oh conqueror, and look at the way he praises Arjuna. Nowhere, only in one way he chastises him. He said, what are you doing? What kind of a Shudra bully, Shudra Balam, he says. He says, what kind of how weak and meek have you got? Shudra is not the Shudra of the thing. Shudra has multiple meanings, just as in English one word has multiple meanings. It means, how can you become so miserly and so weak that you can't think beyond, beyond what you're seeing? Arjuna, he says, I think in verse, somewhere in chapter 2. So here, and thereafter, you wouldn't have seen Krishna talking, showing Arjuna in a low light. And this is another quality that Bhagavad Gita teaches, that the quality of the teacher is to be encouraging the disciples. The quality of a teacher is to kind of help the students or the disciples to see the goodness within him, because everyone is a package and everyone has a package of everything. The package contains good, bad, and everything else. So, a guru is supposed to direct each of the disciples to see what is good in us and not to see the negative. Because in the moment you see the negative side of yourself, it's going to draw your energies to things which are going to only help you to, which are not going to help you to evolve. So for a person to evolve, you need to kind of really help them to understand the rich qualities that they possess, the unique qualities that they possess. So here he says, oh, conqueror, because he's supposed to have, gotten a whole lot of wealth when his brother was doing a big yagna. That is when Yudhishthira was doing a big yagna. So he says, oh, conqueror of wealth. And now look at the next statement. It looks like it's light and high. He said the highest, there is no truth that is superior to me. There's nothing about me. Beyond me, everything is not. Everything is zero. Everything is null. And he says everything rests upon. Everything that you see, the matter and anything that is spiritual rests upon. So I am the one who holds everything. Which he says everything. He talks about the living entities, all things that are non-living, insentient, and also he's also alluring to all the gods, all the devis and the devatas and everyone. He says, just as pearls are strung on a pearls are of different sizes. They're not of the same sizes. So which means we have to respect everyone who is better than us, and as well as who are not so better off than us. In fact, in the Bhagavatam, it says, you need to look up to people who are better off than you. because you can learn from them. They'll inspire you, they'll motivate you. Even if not directly, indirectly, we get to learn. We read the books of Mahatma Gandhi, we read the books of, we read examples of how Nelson Mandela dealt with the multitude of issues that he had. We now, of course, read, very many people who are in positions of power. When they do some good things, you want to really, appreciate, and you want to learn. You want to see what is it that I can draw from them. That's why the Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 3, it says, every leader is a role model. Because the people who are not at your level are learning from you. That's why, as a parent, as a teacher, as a manager, as a head of state, whatever it is. So they have a responsibility, a moral responsibility. So the Lord says, just as pearls are strung on a thread. And as I said, the Bhagavatam says, we have to look up to people who are better than us. And we have to be compassionate to people who are not as good as us. It can be in every matter, in everything. Spiritually, be kind and compassionate to them. Maybe at some point in time, they will look at you and they will also absorb spirituality. Like this is the way Prabhupada, he was so kind to all the people, in the West. When he went there, it was thoroughly, so many of the people were in dire state. He was very kind to them. Time and again, when you read Prabhupada's, the book called Prabhupada, you see how kind he was. And very many times, some of his senior devotees would ask him, why are you doing this? Prabhupada would say, kindness is something that can be very powerful than harsh words. So, and this he took from nowhere. It's all there in the scriptures, and Prabhupada is, completely, he was a living example of what is there in our scriptures. So you have to be kind to people. So that's why it says pearls. Pearls are of different sizes, shapes, colors. So the world is a pearl necklace. And that pearl necklace, the energy that goes through all this entire pearl necklace, or the pearl necklace shines because of the Lord's grace. So let's read the purport. I'll go there in a minute. Let me open the book as well. Yes, we have to read it. So wherever I put this hyperlink, it means we'll have to read that, okay? And I put SP means Srila Prabhupada, okay? So here we go. Who would like to read, please? Hare Krishna. Yes, Swapnil. Hello, Swapnil Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
There is a common controversy over whether the Supreme Absolute Truth is personal or impersonal. As far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned, the Absolute Truth is the personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, and this is confirmed in every step. In this verse in particular, it is stressed that the Absolute Truth is a person, that the personality of Godhead is the Supreme Absolute Truth is also the affirmation of the Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama, Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha. That is the Supreme Absolute Truth personality of Godhead is Lord Krishna, who is the primeval Lord, the reservoir of all pleasure, Govinda, and the eternal form of complete bliss and knowledge. These authorities leave no doubt that the Absolute Truth is the Supreme Person, the cause of all causes. The impersonalist, however, argues on the strength of the Vedic version given in the Shvetashvara Upanishad 3.10, Tato yad uttarataram, tad arupam anamyam, ya etad vidur amratas, te bhavanti athetare dukkham eva piyanti. In the material world, Brahma, the primeval living entity within the universe, is understood to be the supreme amongst the demigods, human beings, and lower animals. But beyond Brahma, there is the transcendence who has no material form and is free from all material contaminations. Anyone who can know him also becomes transcendental, but those who do not know him suffer the miseries of the material world. The impersonalist puts more stress on the word arupam. But this arupam is not impersonal. It indicates the transcendental form of eternity, bliss, and knowledge as described in the Brahma Samhita quoted above. Other verses in the Shvetashvara Upanishad 3.8 to 9 substantiate this as follows. Shall I read, Mataji, or go further?
Prabhu, yeah. Vedaham.
Vedaham itam purusham mahantam aditya varanam tamasha parastat tam eva viditvati matyumeti nanyah panta vidyate janaya yasmat param na param asti kinchit Yasman nanyo yo no jayosti kinchit. Vraksha eva stabdo divi thati ekas. Tenedam
Purnam.
puram purnam purushena sarva.
Yeah.
I know the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is transcendental to all material conceptions of darkness. Only he who knows him can transcend the bonds of birth and death. There is no way for liberation other than this knowledge of that Supreme Person. There is no truth superior to that Supreme Person because he is the supermost. He is smaller than the smallest and he is greater than the greatest. He is situated as a silent tree and he illumines the transcendental sky, and as a tree spreads its roots, he spreads his extensive energies. From these verses, one concludes that Supreme Personality, Supreme Absolute Truth is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is all pervading by his multi energies, both material and spiritual. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So it's such a beautiful verse. Here, what we see is, we see Lord is the Aadhar. He is the basis of everything. And finally, the Lord is also a Ashraya. He is our shelter. He is the final abode. So what remains in between the Aadhar, the journey from knowing that the Lord is the Aadhar and knowing that Lord is the final Ashraya, is the Lakshya. Our Lakshya is what is, our Lakshya is determined by a sadhana. So that's why time and again, spirituality also needs practice. Just as we practice many things in life, it's only through practice that a cook becomes a great cook, a teacher becomes a good teacher, a professional becomes a greater professional, or gains expertise. So therefore, similarly, spirituality also needs that kind of practice. It's not a one-day affair. And why is it so? Because we and somebody was, I think today I was hearing someone say this. Spirituality is not easy. Many people say, "Oh, it's very easy. Oh, what is there in talking? What is there in in all of this?" Spirituality is very difficult. It's easier to get carried away by the material world, and we know it, right? We are all still in the material world. We are still very materialistic in all our life, in all our desires and all things that we do. Right? It's easy. It's easy to get swayed. Gulab jamun, rasgulla, jalebi, rakho to bahut, very, very easily we get swayed to it. It's very hard to say no to any of those things. But spirituality is hard because it doesn't come easy. God really makes sure that we can really come out of all the contaminations that are so strongly, covered in us. So spirituality is difficult, and that's why Prabhupada has given us all those 4 regulative principles. He says, follow them, because it's so easy to fall from all of that. So easy to get swayed by money, so easy to get swayed by certain things in life. Indulgence is so easy. Indulgence comes easily. So 4 regulative principles, he says, mind you. And he also says 16 rounds. So actually, maybe 16 rounds may not be needed at a certain point. Once you're completely, you go devoid of, you get to the state of the Dhyana Yogi, where nothing affects you. Maybe it's something like what Dhruva Maharaj reached, the level of Dhruva Maharaj. So, in this verse, we see the Lord is a seed. He's the cause of all causes. And there's nothing that is behind him. He is the underlying force in all the things. All the pearls are strung together because of the force of the Lord. He is the mighty, and everything around us is his benevolence. If it has not been for his benevolence, I don't think we'll be here together as a group, right? So let's go back. Where is my slide? 1 minute. Oh, my good slide, please come back. Where are you? Just the one. This is not the one. 1 minute. Where did my slide go? Okay, I'll pull up the slide again. Okay. So people can see, you can see my slide, right? Hare Krishna?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, good. Thanks. So now he says, look at the minute details that the Lord goes to. He says, Raso aham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashi surya yoha pranavaha sarva vedeshu shabdake paurusham nrishu. O son of Kunti. First he said, O conqueror of wealth. Now he says, O son of Kunti, I am the taste of God. Look at the kind of respect he gives. O son of Kunti, I am the taste of water. I am the light of the sun. I am the moon, the light of the moon. I am the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in ether and the ability in man. And the next verse, Punyo Gandha Prithivimcha Tejas Chashmi Vibhavashau Jivanam Sarvabhuteshu Tapaschasmi Tapasvishu. I am the original fragrance, the Gandha of the earth. I am the heat and the fire. I am the life of all that lives. I am the penances of all the ascetics. And the penances mean he is the one who gives us that dridata in us. If one is able to really live the principles like what has been laid out to us by Prabhupada to ward off the Maya of this world, the dridata should come from the Lord. We must ask him, we must pray to the Lord, please don't let me stray away from my path. Again, Bhagavad Gita doesn't tell you that you must do that, you must become an Ashtanga Yogi. Please remember, lead a normal life, lead a great life as a student, lead a great life as an adolescent, lead a great life as a grahastha. But with boundaries. And next, verse 7.10. We'll read some of the thing, but I just want to read these verses together. He says in 7.10, he says, Bijam mam sarva bhutanam viddhi partha sanatan buddhir buddhimatam asmi tejas vinam aham. O son of Pritha, know that I am the original seed of all the existence, the intelligence of the intelligent, and the prowess of all the powerful men. 7.11, he says, Balam balavantam chaham karma raga vivarjitam dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamo asmi bharatra sabha. I am the strength of the strong. Devoid of passion and desire. Strength brings in a lot of garva. Garva means ego, pride. But he said, I am the strength of the strong, but without any passion and desire. I am the sex life, which is not contrary to religious principles. It is not for the purpose of indulgence, but for the purpose of, procreation, which is, again, to help jivas to go back home, back to Godhead. O Lord of the Bharatas. Again, look at the way. He said, O conqueror, O son of Printa. Everywhere he uses a characteristic that will boost your urge to kind of, come out of your delusion. That is the Bhagavad Gita. That is the quality of Krishna. Every time he nudges us by kind of, all these names are also meant for us. He says, come on, each one of you are part of my energy. Rise up. Do it. 7.12. Ye chaiva satvika bhava rajasas tamasas che matta eve titana vidhi natva aham teshu temai. Know that all states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am in one sense everything, but I am independent. I am not under the modes of material nature, for they, on the contrary, are within me. But here he is saying, he is saguna. At the same time, he is nirguna because the gunas don't affect him. So he's telling us, yes, everything comes out of me. But whatever you do, you have the independence to make those choices, so make your choices very carefully. Bhagavad Gita teaches us that you have choices. Choose the path correctly. Don't lament that you did not choose the right path. Even when you lament, get back because you have an opportunity to again go back to the right path, is what the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita always asks us not to feel losers. If one follows the path of the Bhagavad Gita, if one follows every word, you pick up, every day pick up at least 5 verses or 4 verses, however time permit. There are those small books that are available, right? Those short books, which has only the verses and the meanings. Not the elaborate purports may not be there. But while you're traveling, or maybe in between breaks in office or whatever, if you read 2-3 verses and pick up some of those words that you really want to reflect upon, it will really, really make you a different person every day. Guarantee. So he says, you are the one who are going to make the choices because I've given you everything. Everything is there. You want to be in the mode of passion, be in the mode of passion. That's your, that's a prarabdha that you want to create for yourself. Go ahead, create it. I'm not going to stop you. I've given you, there is a, he's put before us a big plate full of everything. It's a buffet that you have. What you choose is yours. Now, if you choose the wrong things, now don't blame the Lord for it, is what Krishna very, very emphatically states in these verses. It's particularly in this verse. Okay. So, summary of Krishna's opulence, and we're going to read the purport as well. But so the summary of the opulences are, he says, the smallest of things, water. Sometimes we think water. Of course, water is the big thing. For us in Bangalore, we are buying water, so we know what water is. But he says the taste in water is me. The light from the moon, from every planet that shines in the night sky, is all from him. The Vedic mantra is Om. Every Vedic mantra, whether it's to Shiva or to Ganesha or to Parvati or to Saraswati or to Lakshmi Devi, starts with the word Om. And Om is the Supreme Lord. He's a sound in ether. He's the ability in each of the sentient beings. He's the fragrance of Mother Earth. He's the heat. And heat is so much an essential ingredient for everything that has to sustain in this world. He's the life in everything that is sentient. He's the penance of all ascetics. He's the original seed. He's the intelligence. He's the prowess. He's the strength. He's the sex life. So now let's go to the library. Has everyone read the purports, or we should read? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
I think 7.8 is self-explanatory, Mataji.
You want to read 7.8? Okay, let's read. Okay.
Shall I start, Mataji?
Yeah. Yes, please.
This verse explains how the Lord is all-pervasive by his diverse material and spiritual energies. The Supreme Lord can be preliminarily perceived by his different energies, and in this way, he is realized impersonally. As the demigod in the sun is a person and is perceived by his all-pervading energy, the sunshine, so the Lord, although in his eternal abode, is perceived by his all-pervading diffusive energies. The taste of water is the active principle of water. No one likes to drink seawater because the pure taste of water is mixed with salt. Attraction for water depends on the purity of the taste, and in this pure taste is this pure taste is one of the energies of the Lord. The impersonalist. Shall I continue, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
The impersonalist perceives the presence of the Lord in water by his taste, and the personalist also glorifies the Lord for his kindly supplying tasty water to quench man's thirst. That is the way of perceiving the Supreme. Practically speaking, there is no conflict between personalism and impersonalism. One who knows God knows that the impersonal conception and personal conceptions are simultaneously present in everything, and there is no contradiction. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya established his sublime doctrine, Achinta Bheda and Abheda Tattva, simultaneously oneness and difference. The light of sun and the moon is also originally emanating from the Brahm Jyoti, which is impersonal effulgence of the Lord, and Pranava or the Omkara, transcendental sound in the beginning of every Vedic hymn, addresses the Supreme Lord. Because of the impersonalists are very much afraid of addressing the Supreme Lord Krishna by his innumerable names, they prefer to vibrate the transcendental sound Omkara, but they do not realize that Omkara is the sound representation of Krishna. The jurisdiction of Krishna consciousness extends everywhere, and one who knows Krishna consciousness is blessed. Those who do not know Krishna are in illusion, and so knowledge of Krishna is liberation, and ignorance of him is bondage. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, I'm just seeing the message. Ramchandran Prabhu saying little more audible, please. Okay. Prabhu, is it okay, Prabhu? Hare Krishna, Prabhu, can you hear me?
Mataji, that was in the beginning. Now it is okay.
Now it's okay. Okay, Prabhu. Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay. Sorry, I saw your message later. Sorry. Okay, super. So, it's a beautiful verse, and I'm also reading the next verse. It's also beautiful. So here you have this analogy, yeah? As a demigod and the sun is a person and is perceived by his all-pervading energy, the sunshine. So this sometimes can be a question for you. So just mark, as you're reading the purports, mark the analogies, because sometimes certain questions in your thing can come out of your thing and out of your the question bank. And the other thing is, you can also use some of these when you're writing your open books. Okay. So 9 is also a good one. Let's read the 9 one. I mean, every purport of Prabhupada is so nice. Hare Krishna, somebody wants to read this? It's a short purport.
Hare Krishna,
Mataji,
Mataji.
I will read Mataji.
Okay. Mataji, you read the next
Punya
one.
means
Sure, Mataji.
Punya means that which is not decomposed.
Hmm.
Punya is original. Everything in the material world has a certain flavor of fragrance, as the flavor and fragrance in a flower are in earth, in water, in fire, in air, etc. The uncontaminated flavor, the original flavor which permeates everything, is Krishna. Similarly, everything has a particular original taste, and this taste can be changed by mixture of chemicals. So everything original has some smell, some fragrance, and some taste.
Hmm.
Vibhavasu means fire. Without fire, we cannot run factories, we cannot cook, etc. And that fire is Krishna. The heat in the fire is Krishna. According to Vedic medicine, indigestion is due to a low temperature in the belly. So even the digestion fire is needed. In Krishna consciousness, we become aware that earth, water, fire, air, and every active principle, all chemicals and all material elements are due to Krishna. The duration of man's life is also due to Krishna. Therefore, by the grace of Krishna, man can prolong his life or diminish it. So, Krishna consciousness is very active in every sphere. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So there's this saying, no, that comes, very often in any of the books that you read. Mare Krishna Rake Krishna Mareke.
Araki.
Yeah. So therefore, if Krishna wants to do something, only he can do. If Krishna desires that time hasn't come for you, nobody can do anything. Right? So that is Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. So once we are able to really, understand, assimilate this thought that, we are insignificant. For those of you who are Maharashtrians, and if you can catch a copy of Vinoba Bhave's book, and that his writings on the Mahabharata, on the Gita, which I think he wrote when he was in the prison. My Maharashtrian friends tell me that it's very well written. There is an English translation available which I have read, but then it is too straightforward, like someone talking in English to us. But I'm told that the Marathi version is beautiful. So in that, he says that we are insignificant. When you read the Bhagavad Gita, when you understand that nothing belongs to you, and even our Upanishads also talk about nothing belongs to you. And Prabhupada, when you read Ishopanishad, Prabhupada gives a beautiful explanation of capitalists and communists. So that when you read the book, but then he gives a beautiful analogy and explains it very well. So nothing belongs to you. So we are insignificant. We are perishable. Nothing that exists is long-lasting. Everything is perishable. And Lord also states that there. And death is inevitable. Death is inevitable. Okay. 7.10. Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Pranam.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Bijam means seed. Krishna is the seed of everything. There are various living entities, movable and inert. Birds, beasts, men, and many other living creatures are moving, living entities, trees and plants, however, are inert. They cannot move but only stand. Every entity is contained within the scope of 84 lakh species of life. Some of them are moving and some of them are inert. In all cases, however, the seed of their life is Krishna. As stated in Vedic literature, Brahman, or the supreme absolute truth, is that from which everything is emanating. Krishna is Parabrahman, the supreme spirit. Brahman is impersonal and Parabrahman is personal. Impersonal Brahman is situated in the personal aspect that is stated in Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, originally Krishna is the source of everything. He is the root, as the root of a tree maintains the whole tree. Krishna, being the original root of all things, maintains everything in this material manifestation. This is also confirmed in the Vedic literature, Katha Upanishad 2.13. Nityo Nityam Chetasa Chetanas Chetanam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidhati Kaman. He is the prime eternal among all eternals. He is the supreme living entity of all living entities, and he alone is maintaining all life. One cannot do anything without intelligence, and Krishna also says that he is the root of all intelligence. Unless a person is intelligent, he cannot understand the supreme personality of Godhead Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. So the next verse is about the strength. So some people may think, is strength a wrong? Is strength a virtue, or is it is it something that is not good? No, that's not what it's meant. When the strength is used for the right reasons, it's good. When the strength is used for the wrong reasons, it definitely means doom. Just as our scriptures give us the example of Ravana, Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, Maharaj Bali, whatever. So strength used for the right reasons will never go waste. But strength used for the wrong reasons will affect you, will hit you back. Okay. Now, the next one is 7.12. Yeah. 7.12. All material activities in the world are being conducted under three modes of material nature. This is what the Lord says. Although these material modes of nature are emanations from the Supreme Lord Krishna, he is not subject. He is Saguna, but he is Nirguna. For instance, under the state laws, one may be punished. But the king, the lawmaker, is not subject to that law. So this is in the old Satya Yuga days, as king doesn't, but nowadays kings also, make all kinds of, they also fall under all kinds of categories. So they are definitely punishable these days. But in those, we're talking about Satya Yuga. So in the back then, they maintained a great stand, like King Janaka. So this king here alludes to those kind of people who were like Janaka, not the kind of heads of state that we have today. So similarly, all the modes of material nature, goodness, passion, ignorance, are emanations from the Supreme. So this also directs us to think when someone is under not so virtuous qualities, when they carry some vices, we have to be kind to them. Because those gunas that they get, they're exemplifying it because it exists as part of the various things that the Lord has put in place in this material world. So we need to sometimes be compassionate to them. So it doesn't mean that you're going to tolerate what they do. We should try and help to see if they want help, you should give it to them. That's what it means. If someone wants to come out of a certain addiction that they have, give them a hand. Help them to come out of it, whatever you can do. Guide them. Tell them, oh yeah, these are the places where you can go to. Someone says, I'm deeply, I'm in a depression. Depression is not a disease. It's a state in which one is not, it's like Arjuna. Arjuna is in a state of depression right now. And what is the Lord doing? He's given him this, look at the way 700 verses came out because of Arjuna. Otherwise, these 700 verses wouldn't have come. That's what it says. So someone is weak. There's a weakness for something. We must help them. Don't we do that to our children at home? Don't we do that to our kith and our siblings and our and friends that we know. So that's what it means. Okay. So, but Krishna is not subject to material nature. So Krishna is not like he can have whatever he wants anytime. So Krishna is, he's not subject to all. He doesn't need them. He's always in his yoga nidra. Therefore, he's nirguna, which means that these gunas or modes, although issuing from him, do not affect. He doesn't come under them. That is one of the special characteristics of the Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of God. Hare Krishna, any questions up until now?
Mataji, can you just explain a little more about this Brahman and Par-Brahman, that is impersonal and personal, in the 7.10?
7.10. Yeah. So, see, Brahman is the effulgence of the Supreme Lord. Brahman is just one of the qualities of the Lord. It is just like Prabhupada gives us the example of the sun and the sun's reflection. So, the Lord, with all his qualities, if you want to see him if you want to see him everywhere around you, he's there everywhere. That's Brahman. You can just say, okay, fine, I don't want to go to the temple. I don't believe in temple worship. So, because the God is everywhere. That is a Brahman form of worship. Because you don't see the Lord in a form that he has. You're seeing the Lord as just as the way you see the sun rays. The sun rays is not the same as sun. So, similarly, the Brahman aspect of the Lord, which is the effulgence of the Lord, or his presence in everything, everywhere, whether it's water or whether it's any of the matter that we use, our telephone, this very exchange of conversation that we are having through the medium of technology, etc. Technology is insentient. It's not a sentient being. Everything happens because of the energy or because of the power that the Lord has given the human beings to create them. The table that we create has come from the wood. It's come from the tree. That's a sentient being. The moment you cut the tree, it becomes insentient. But that is also the energy of the Lord. If the energy of the Lord, the carpenter couldn't have made it. So if someone wants to view the Lord like that, that is Brahman. But above that is the Parabrahman. There is the superior energy is the one that has given or that energizes everything around you. That is Parabrahman. The personal form of the Lord, that's why Prabhupada time and again keeps stressing that Lord Krishna who came in the Dwapara Yuga is the same Krishna who is there in the Goloka Vrindavan. The same that bluish black color complexion. Do you see bluish black anywhere? No, that's a very unique complexion that the Lord came with. That's a complexion with which he exists in the Goloka Vrindavan. So that's why he says the Lord has a form, and that form is the form of Krishna who came in the Dwapara Yuga as the Krishna we know and as the Krishna who is teaching us this Bhagavad Gita. So that's why Prabhupada says Krishna has a form, he is Saguna, but he is not affected by any of these things. So he's personal. And therefore, for a person who wants to look upon the Krishna who came in Dwaraka as a person, he's a person. But someone who doesn't want to look away, he says, oh yeah, it was just another Maya of the Lord. But Lord is basically impersonal because he exists everywhere. That's also one way of looking at it. But that is impersonal. And Prabhupada says that does not have the rasas. And when you read, Nectar of Devotion, you will get to read all about the rasas, the various forms of rasas. So you can express yourself. See, when you see your child, when your child is in your arm, there's so much of emotion that you have with the child. Right? Whereas when the child goes away to the hostel, etc., there is still an emotion, but still impersonal because you're seeing the child either through Zoom or through your Gmeet or your phone or your WhatsApp and all this stuff. But with the same son or daughter, when they come home, you see them around you, they go around, you see them in their various activities. It gives you a very different feeling. The happiness that you get when you have your children around you, when you have your parents next to you, is a very different thing than staying far away from them. That makes it very impersonal. They call it long distance relationships, right? Long distance relationships are very impersonal. They don't last. Today, children are in long distance relationships, etc. They date, they have a long distance, they call it long distance relationships and all. Many times it fails. It fails because it's very impersonal. Similarly, when you look at Lord as being everywhere, then when you look at, then otherwise looking at him with that in this beautiful form and his vastram and everything, it gives you that feeling. You feel that, that the Lord is, you can talk to the Lord. You can express yourself to him. For example, in Ayodhya, leave alone the other aspects. When I take Ayodhya, some people, of course, for people who are spiritual, it is spirituality. For some people, they look at it other way. They say there's a lot of politics around it. Leave the politics aside. But when you look at, when you first saw, when they did that, when they unveiled the Murti with all its grandeur, all the dress and the ornaments and everything else, I saw it on television. The eyes just glistened. Immediately, even a non-spiritual person also, they had goosebumps. Even someone who is not so spiritual or someone who doesn't, who's not practicing spirituality, also turned spiritual. They kind of felt that divinity as soon as they saw the beautiful face of the Lord, of the young Lord Rama. That is personal. Now, why do we go to Vrindavan? Why should you have to go to Vrindavan? There's something which is very magnetic there. Why do you go to Mayapur? There is some, you feel that energy, that electrifying, that electrifying feel that you get there. That is personal. You won't get it when you are in your city like a Mumbai or in a Delhi, when you're walking in Chandni Chowk or something. You won't get that. Or when you're walking in Bandra Bandstand, you won't get that. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. It's clear.
So, as I remember when we were in the class in 2020 with Namanishra Das Prabhuji, so one question came from a devotee. He says, why? We kind of worship idols in our mandirs. One devotee said this, or one participant in the group said. So I remember the beautiful explanation that Namanishra Das Prabhuji gave, which also is something which is there in all our purports that Prabhupada also gives. So Namanishra Das Prabhuji said, the idol you see in the temple and in your own personal mandirs at home is not idol, it's a deity. Because you make offerings. It gives you peace of mind. There's a certain discipline you follow when you want to go near the idols in your home. They are deities. But whereas all those, all those masks and all those things that you see in the public areas, and I don't want to name them, all are great freedom fighters and all, we have put all their idols everywhere. They've put all their busts everywhere, right? So that is idol. कोई देखता भी नहीं है. They're open. Come rain, come shine, dust, grime, everything falls on, and some people even go and cut them off also. When they get angry, when there's a riot, the first thing is all these public places get affected. So that is idols. That's a difference. Whereas what you have at home, what you have in Ayodhya is not an idol. It was idol before it came there. The moment Pran Pratishtha ho gaya, it has become a deity. That's a difference. It's a person. You start looking at it with reverence, with love, with affection. Now tell me, how many of us, as soon as the Pran Pratishtha happened, as soon as we saw the pictures, Many of us who probably never thought of Ayodhya also started thinking of Ayodhya. Maybe someday Ayodhya का trip करना है. आप में से बोलिए कितने लोगों का वो इच्छा नहीं हुआ?
Mataji, we are going in August.
देखिए. That's it. That's the power. That's the power of having a mandir anywhere. Ayodhya was always existed. So somebody was telling in our family, oh, they were making fun of us. They said, oh, so when are you going to Ayodhya? Yeah, we said, yeah, we will. We're looking for a next opportunity that comes by. Maybe we will. So they were saying Ayodhya always existed. That time you never wanted to go. Now you want to go. So it's a different thing. The ambience now is different. Right? So a temple gives you a very different feeling. It calls you, it welcomes you, it beckons you. Tirupati. It beckons you, it invites you. It's the power. And that power comes the moment you put your faith in that place. Where does the power come from? It's your faith. Your belief. That gives the power to that, energizes that entire place. Okay. Hare Krishna. Okay, we'll go to the next one. I don't think we did this, right? Did we read this?
Not yet, Mataji.
Not yet. Okay, we should go, right? Let's go to our.
We read till 12.
Yes, Prabhuji, 1 second. I'll go back. Okay, so the key points up to 12 are the Lord's energy is everywhere and in everything. He is Nirguna and he is Saguna and he is a person. He is not an impersonal. He's not someone who doesn't have the features. He has all the features. And he is eagerly waiting for a return back to our eternal home. And absolute surrender is a must to face the strong forces of nature. It's only when you surrender. That's why Swami Vivekananda says, I believe Ramakrishna Parahamsa used to tell him, बस उस भगवान का पैर पकड़ लो और कुछ नहीं. उनको बस शरणागति होना चाहिए. पूरा शरणागति कर लो and that's it. Nothing else. So absolute surrender is a must to face the strong forces of, because forces of nature are very strong. Very, very strong. Food, fashion, style, wealth. They are highly, highly alluring. So only when you only believe in that Supreme Lord will you be able to face the challenges. So for reading, I've said personal and impersonal. That's a question that you asked, Prabhuji. So please read more. I've just told you what I know, but I'm sure there's lots more. So in your next class, whoever reads and gets to have a better understanding, please come and share with all of us. Hare Krishna. So now we are going to Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah. They'll read more about that.
Yeah, please read. Then we can all discuss and it will be nice to share and learn together. So now we are going to the section 3. So here, Lord Krishna is going to talk about surrendering to Krishna. What is surrender to Krishna? The previous slide, I said surrender to Krishna. So what is surrender to Krishna? And who are the types of worshippers? Everyone calls the Lord in some form or the other. And that's what he's going to tell us in the next section. So verse 7.13, he says, Tribir Gunamayer Bhavai Ebihi Sarvam Idam Jagat Mohitam Nabijanati Mam Ebaya Param Avyaya. Deluded by the 3 modes of nature, which is goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know. Who am above the modes and inexhaustible. And he has said this even before. Remember? Manushine Sahasrana. So there are many, many people and only one person who really achieves that perfection. So he's again saying that why is it that only one person or very few people achieve that that perfection? Because of the 3 modes of nature, which is Rajas, Tamas, and sattva gunas. So because of that, we forget and we kind of identify ourselves with this body and our paraphernalia, our surroundings. We identify ourselves with the things that we know, that we see around us, and forget what is it that has helped us to build or connects us through the paraphernalia. It's our avidya, it's our ignorance, it's our inbuilt nature to get carried away by the world around us, and we forget the Aadhar of all of this. Okay. Abhi 7.14 is, this is your one of your memorization verses. Daivihi Isha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratayaya Mameva Ye Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. The Lord says, the divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. The inferior energy of the Lord, he says, is also very powerful. It's difficult to overcome. But those who surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond. So surrendering unto him is absolutely important. And we will be able to do that as we, keep reading the Bhagavad Gita, constantly, continuously. Take a verse and, do a reflection on that verse. Irrespective of whether module 1, module 2, or module, pick up any verse from Bhagavad Gita, reflect on that. At least one verse. I typically say 4 to 5 verses, but at least let's do one verse. And of course, the 4 regulative principles and our sadhana. At least it will help us to come out of the muda, the kind of ignorance that covers us or engulfs that has engulfed us. So the process of surrender. This is a beautiful thing that Prabhupada, in a morning walk in Los Angeles in 1973, he says, what is the process of surrender? So one of his disciples, Sudama, he says, now, Srila Prabhupada, Krishna has sent you here to teach us this art of surrendering. So Prabhupada says, yes. So Sudama says again, now you have told us to first of all, surrender. So as your students, we are trying to hear. Just give me a minute. This is disturbing me. Let me take it up. Yeah. So his disciple again says, now you told us to first of all to surrender. So as your students, we are trying to hear in that way. So we are kind of hearing all that you're saying, assimilating all you're saying to help us to surrender. Now when we go and preach and we tell, if we tell all the men, first of all you surrender, before you will be able to understand. Then what question is there of preaching? Prabhupada says they have already surrendered. They have surrendered. When they have come to hear you, there is a symptom of surrender. The moment somebody even opens a Bhagavad Gita and starts reading it, shows that there is some kind of a thirst that the person has. So Prabhupada says, they have already surrendered. Even if the moment they come and sit in the, in the hall, that itself is a form of surrender. That is a symptom of surrender. Otherwise, why does he waste his time? Now we are all here reading together. So there is something, right? There is some blessing that we have. And we are also making effort to surrender. That's why we are all here reading all this together, discussing this together. Say, Prabhupada, how beautifully he is encouraging. These are words of encouragement. There is little bit surrender, full surrender and partial surrender. He's differentiated. There is slight surrender, partial and full. When one agrees to hear from you, that is partial surrender. So Sudama, the disciple, says, even there may be some argument, but we must be fixed up enough to convince him to surrender more. So when there is an argument, should we actually convince them and have them surrender? So Prabhupada says, actually at the present age, nobody is interested in spiritual subject matter. When I tell my nephews at home, I said, come and listen to some of these things that are there. I said, go to YouTube. They said, no, we'll do it later. Thank you. Okay, we'll do it later. It's not there. The same thing you tell them, there's a great movie going on. Oh, they say, when can we book the tickets? Nobody is interested. So nobody is coming to surrender to you. Therefore, you have to canvas. So you have to keep doing, which is what Nama Nishtha Das Prabhuji is doing. From 2020 to now, the registration used to be very high in the earlier days. Thousands used to go to 20,000, 30,000. I think it started with 50,000 and all that. Now it's so difficult for them to get even a few registrations. Obviously, the reasons are many. One is COVID is not there anymore. People are all back at their works and all that. But even otherwise, everyone can, I'm sure we can, take out 1 hour a day because it's in our interest. So actually at the present age, nobody is interested in spiritual matter. Nobody is interested, so nobody is coming to surrender to you. It's not surrender to you, may surrender to you. It is surrender to the Lord. Therefore, you have to canvas. You have to keep at it. Please surrender, please surrender. This is our position. When you say please surrender, just keep doing your work. Even if you're able to convert or have 10 people out of lakh, is a great work done. Because somewhere I read, even if one person exists in a community, that community will prosper, it seems. And you saw Sudama. When Sudama got all the Aishwaryam from the Lord after his visit, it seems not only his house illuminated, every house in the place where he was completely filled with joy and happiness and wealth. Because happiness and positivity is infectious. Just as vices are addictive, virtue is also equally addictive. Goodness is also very addictive. It's very, very infectious. So otherwise, I'm continuing here. Otherwise, the tat vigyanartham sagurum eva bigacchate. One should come to the Guru, but nobody comes to the Guru. So therefore, the Guru came to USA. I think somewhere there's this popular saying, no? If the mountain does not come to Muhammad has to go to mountain. There's a normal saying. I've heard my teacher say this. So therefore, if sometimes if students don't come to you, the teacher has to go. That's why in ISKCON you'll find, that book distribution is a very, very big activity. Service is a very, very big activity. So go, keep helping people. Go, encourage them to read the books. They give only small books, small books. At least let them start with in a small way. Encourage them, enthuse them to read the bigger things that are there or the nicer things that are there. So this is the position. Nobody went to me in India. Nobody came to Prabhupada in India. He struggled a lot. Please read Prabhupada's biography. But I had to come here to canvas you because it's Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, we have to go and prod people and invite them and, help them to read this and understand this, or at least, that's why, we have those, what are they called? I'm forgetting the name. In ISKCON, wherever ISKCON temples are not there, people have that, does anyone know the name?
Center?
No, that Namahata?
Namahata.
Yeah.
Namahata, yeah. So, keep chanting. Maybe even if 108, at least, even if they chant 10 times, it's a great thing, no? That much of goodness gets into you, right? The real process is one should go to the Guru, but the intelligent man goes. Someone who knows about it goes. Someone who has a prarabdha in his life goes. But it's not necessary that everyone will be able to do it. But some people need that encouragement. So my life is meant for spiritual realization. So I must find out a guru. That some people will do. Just as the way we are trying to understand. We are doing this course not for the certificate, right? We are doing it because we believe that this course will offer us the opportunity to read the Bhagavad Gita, understand it, discuss it, and help us to read it again and again. So that's why we are doing it. I don't think anyone is doing it because of a certificate, because this certificate is not something that's going to help you to get a job or anything like that. It's not that. but it's something that's going to help you even something bigger than getting a job. It's going to help you sail through this beautiful samsara of life. This life is actually beautiful with all its problems, with all its opportunities, with all the challenges that it throws against us. It's beautiful. Every day you get up, there is something new challenge on you. Electricity nahi hai. It's a challenge, right? You go figure out how to get it done. Pani nahi hai. So you go figure out, you try and see how can we help each other to do things together. But there are challenges. But when you kind of, understand everything is part and parcel of life and everything is something that Lord expects us to deal with a lot of confidence and with a lot of positivity, it gives you that power. Nothing called depression will ever enter the life of a devotee simply because he or she is positive. They never let a problem affect them. Even if it affects them, it is only for a day or two. After that, you're finding solutions. As I speak to you, I have a multitude of problems. But every problem is getting solved in its own way. I'm sure it is there in all the devotees' life as well, in your lives as well. Maybe you would have seen the difference that has happened in your life from the time you took to understanding and to reading the Bhagavad Gita. I'm sure each one of you have a story to share. Please share them. So he says, but the people are so fallen in this age that nobody is interested in that subject matter called spirituality. They think spirituality is for the old age. And that he has got all the spiritual value and he has to achieve this knowledge and make his life perfect. Nobody knows it. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught preaching. These rascals, they are so fallen. They'll never search out for a guru. So guru should go on campus. So now I'm just going to pause. Okay, there's another lecture. Somebody wants to read this? This is also a beautiful one. This is in Ahmedabad, September 25. Oh, there's a nice story that is there of Ahmedabad. Please read the book. You will really enjoy it. Yeah, can someone read this? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji,
Mataji,
you
I
can
will
read.
read.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Okay, Prabhuji, go ahead.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. So this Krishna conscious movement is not a religious movement. Religion is always there. The meaning of religion is different. We see in dictionary, religion is a kind of faith. It is not a question of faith. It is compulsory duty, that is religion. Characteristics, that is religion. Just like if you take chili, it is pungent. That is its religion. And sugar is sweet. That is its religion. Similarly, everything substance has a characteristics. The characteristics is called religion. So we are all living entities, which is our characteristics. This is said by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jivira Swaripa Hayakira Nityadasa. This is the characteristics. We are eternal servants of the Lord. This is our characteristics. And when we forget that, we remain servants, but not as the servant of the Lord, but servant of Maya. We do not get rid of servitorship. So that is why we become servant of the society, servant of son, servant of daughter, servant of woman, servant of community, servant of nation. We remain servants, but not the servant of Lord. This is the only difference. We are not the masters. See, America is such a strong state, but that Nixon made some little mistake. He was the servant. He was kicked out, that's all. So he was thinking that he was the master. No, he is the servant. All are servants. So this definition given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jivira, Swaripa, Hayakira, Nityadasa. He is the servant of Ka, but being enamored by illusion, he thinks, I am the master, I am God. This is called illusion. This has to be given up. You will be happy only if you give it up. And for this Lord says, Maya Asakta Mana Prata. We have to increase our attachment to the Lord. This is the subject matter of our preaching. Bhakti Parobhava Viraktir Anyatra Shet. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. So, it's very beautiful. Now there's a new concept in management called servant leadership. So when I read this lecture of Prabhupada, when I read this, I understood from where the servant leadership came. The moment you know that you are the servant of that Supreme Lord, and everything around you has been created by Him, you start appreciating. Whether it be your guru, whether it be your disciple, your students, or whether it be your children, whether it be your parents, you start admiring those qualities in them. You don't try to find the fault in them, because it's so easy for us to pass judgments. It's so easy for us to be opinionated. It comes so naturally to us. When you ask someone about somebody's qualities, the first thing that comes is, okay, it's so easy. We can easily rattle off about somebody's not so good aspects. It's so difficult for us to find the good things in them. But when it comes to you, you only talk about the good things. You never talk about your weaknesses. That's the nature. We have been made like that. And that is because of ignorance. The moment that ignorance goes away is when the perfection starts to get in. Okay. And here, this religion that Prabhupada is talking about, he says the religion of chili is to be pungent. The religion of fire is to give heat, to give that warmth. That is dharma. That is what is dharma. The law of being is called dharma. So the law of the dharma of this human body is to free ourselves from the shackles of ignorance, from the shackles, from the various ropes that binds us in the form of, the tamaguna and the sattva-guna. And because even sattva-guna has its, the low side. We will read that in module 3. So everything has ups and downs. It's not that sattva-guna is also great. Sattva-guna is better than the tamas and the rajas, but pure sattva, you have to look at the Shuddha Sattva-guna, which is even higher than the Sattva-guna. But I'm not getting into that now. But I just want to let you know that right now we have to see how we can just tear ourselves from all these kind of allurements and, the distractions that are there around us. That is Adhar. To peel away the contaminations from our mind and help the intellect to grow is our dharma. Okay. Hare Krishna, any questions? Yeah, I'm just going to stop for a minute before I want us to read this purport of 14. But before that, just let's take 5 minutes. The purport will take us maybe 5 minutes. But let's take 5 minutes. I want you all to share your own experiences of devotional life. What has changed? What has changed? Or what are your realizations?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
After I joined this Krishna consciousness, I have become more compassionate about other living beings, and also like some of the understanding has developed. Although I wouldn't say it's realization, but I would say a better understanding about the proprietorship of the Lord, and that everything belongs to the Lord. So those kind of that kind of hunger towards material things, that has come down. I mean, that how it was earlier, now it has come down with that understanding. So slowly these kind of changes I am observing in myself after I joined this Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. Anyone else would like to share?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so as he has said, so I don't have any such as realization as such. So as I can see a sea of change in my life since I got association of these devotees. So first thing is I was not aware of the world of scriptures that we have and the nectar in that scriptures. We heard about Gita, Bhagavad Gita, we have heard day in, day out, but never thought of opening it up. But with the association of the devotees of ISKCON, so we got this opportunity to open it up and relish it also. Read it and relish it both. So this is one sea change that has we have gone through. Then there are other changes like lifestyle has changed completely. The perspective has changed. How we used to look at certain things have changed altogether. Now the perspective has changed. The way we take something like let's say as you have given an example of there's no water. So it used to be a great problem. but now we know that well it's not there. We have to arrange something. So
Yeah.
in that way the perspective has changed. So these are the sea changes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for sharing your experience. Anyone else would like to share?
Mataji, in my house now, I don't allow my family to kill cockroach or mosquitoes or anything like that. So something like that, in our family we'll have a little arguments like if you don't kill cockroach, they will keep on increasing, right? And so, but after I joined this Krishna consciousness, that understanding has gone deeper. So I wouldn't feel like killing them or mosquitoes or ants. No, bees. So that kind of things has developed.
Yes, Prabhuji. One thing I can tell you, if you keep your kitchen, utensils and all cleaned up, cockroaches will not come. They come because we vessels next day for the bai to come and clean, So I think half the problem is solved. The kitchen can be kept clean. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. But that's a nice one, Prabhu. Very nice one. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Anyone else wants to share any experience? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Pranam. Thank
Hare-
you for a wonderful session, Mataji. So lively.
Hmm.
And you always keeps us so connected with your knowledge that you give. And the change what I have felt in my life is that I'm practicing since 2.5 years.
Yes.
And first and foremost thing I felt is that the inner happiness and the inner peace, what I felt. Earlier it was always a lot of confusion. There is no clarity, like where we are going, what is our goal in life, what is our destination, and all the questions were answered when I joined in Krishna consciousness. And the happiest thing I felt is that we know that who is the supreme personality of Godhead, and when we got to know that is Krishna, that is the happiest moment in my life, because whatever I want to share in front of Krishna, I can do it very easily. And I felt that whenever I go near to Lord Vishnu, it is kind of, I'm not so comfortable sharing my problems with him. But whenever I come near Krishna, I can share my heart out and I feel that connect. So I'm very much happy that at the end, we don't know how many lifetimes it will take, but at the end, we are going to him only. He's so friendly, Mataji.
Hare
That
Krishna.
is the happiest thing I feel in Krishna consciousness.
Well,
Hare
you made a statement, inner peace. I think that's what the inner peace is, what helps you to, ward off all kinds of things that people talk, depression.
Yes,
Cannot touch you.
cannot touch. Yes, Mataji.
Touch you.
Because there is no worry in your life. So when you are around Krishna, you will be always happy because Krishna is Sachidananda Vigraha. So who is around Krishna? So now we will get to know that why ISKCON devotees are always happy. Those who see from outside, they will not understand. So those who come and be in contact with them, then they will understand why they are so happy in spite of so many things are happening in their life, but still they are happy always.
Absolutely. Beautiful, Mataji. I just want to share another experience with you. I don't know if
Yes.
I told you last week. 2 weeks ago, Namanishta Das Prabhuji had come to Bangalore, and he called me the previous day, and I was actually not well, but he called me, and the moment he said, "Where are you?" I said, "Sir, Prabhuji, I'm here in Bangalore." He said, "Okay, tomorrow we are coming there. We will be coming somewhere close to your house. So I would like to come to your house and have breakfast." Now, I was like, I was bad. Even now, right now, as I said, I have some back problem. So, I said, "Oh, yes, Prabhuji, please come." And I was like thinking in my head, "Ore baap, kya karenge, kya khilayenge?" So anyway, nowadays we get all these idli doughs and all that, so idli ka batter, sambar chutney banaya. And it's only that for a moment I felt, kya karenge? And with that pain, I did everything. And I also dropped them to their, wherever they had to go for a meeting, some donation drive he's doing. So I had to go for a meeting. So I had gone for that. I forgot all about my pain. Just imagine, the previous day I had undergone an MRI and all that. But that moment, everything forgotten. I drove them, I dropped them wherever they had to go. That is one part. That's a very minor part. The bigger thing, please listen to this very carefully. So I asked Prabhuji. So Prabhuji, he was having meetings throughout the day. So I said, when are you returning back, Prabhuji? I asked. He said, we're returning, we have an early morning flight. So we're going back early morning. And Sridhar Prabhu had also come with him. I believe Sridhar Prabhu doesn't like to take a flight because kharcha hota hai. Samajh rahe aapko? So, but I believe they got the tickets at very, very cheap, 1,500 rupees. And these were all very big industrialists and businessmen that they were meeting. So they had given them a time. So it's like, I believe Namanishtadas Prabhuji told Sridhar Prabhu, no, it's not, it's okay. Let's do it flight this time. Next time we'll do it bus or गाड़ी में जाएंगे, बस इस बार जाएंगे because इनका time अभी मिला है हमें करना ही करना है. So just listen to this very carefully. So I said, Prabhuji, so you're leaving. So early morning flight hai Mataji. So after all the meetings, we'll buy some fruits or something and we'll go straight to the airport. I said, airport? But कहाँ रहोगे आप? नहीं, airport के अंदर में होगा ना. वहाँ waiting area में थोड़ा वो chairs सब होंगे ना, वहाँ पर we will take rest. That statement that he made brought tears to my eyes. Just simplicity. It brought tears to me, but for him, it was cool, School. I don't know how many of you all have seen him face to face. Very, very happy personality. Very happy-go-lucky. Very austere life, simple life. But that happiness, I was thinking, that is the inner peace and inner strength, Mataji. Inner peace gives you strength. उन पर फूट फूट कर पड़ी हुई है, तो हिंदी जैसे सब ना एकदम पूरा भरा हुआ है. इतना आसान से बोल दिया उन्होंने कि नहीं एयरपोर्ट में जाके हम एयरपोर्ट चले जाएंगे. And imagine 10 hours sitting in the airport because early morning flight. They must have taken the early morning flight because normally early morning flights tickets thoda, they are little moderately priced. And they took the similar kind of an early morning flight to come to, because they were in my house by around 8 o'clock they were at my place. That means they must have taken an early morning, 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock or something. They must have come to the airport. I mean, to the Mangalore airport. So that devotion, that total surrender, it gives you inner peace, and inner peace gives you the strength. So let's read this purport and we shall end this class. Okay? Shall we read the purport? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Shall I?
Yeah. 1 second, Prabhuji. Let me go to this purport, 7.4. Yes, Prabhuji. Please read, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead has innumerable energies, and all these energies are divine. Although the living entities are part of his energies and are therefore divine, due to contact with material energy, their original superior power is covered. Being thus covered by material energy, one cannot possibly overcome its influence. As previously stated, both the material and spiritual nature, being emanations from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all eternal, the living entities belong to the eternal superior nature of the Lord. But due to contamination by the inferior nature, matter, their illusion is also eternal. The conditioned soul is therefore called Nitya Baddha, or eternally conditioned. no one can trace out the history of his becoming conditioned at a certain date in a material history. Consequently, his release from the clutches of material nature is very difficult, even though that material nature is an inferior energy, because material energy is ultimately conducted by the supreme will, which the living entity cannot overcome. Inferior material nature is defined herein as divine nature due to its divine connection and movement by the divine will, being conducted
Being conducted by divine will.
being conducted by divine will. Material nature, although inferior, acts so wonderfully in the construction and obstruction and destruction of the cosmic manifestation. The Vedas confirmed this as follows: Mayam tu prakritam vidyam, Mayam tu maheshwaram. Although Maya illusion is false or temporary, the background of Maya is the supreme magician, the personality of Godhead, who is Maheshwara, the supreme controller. Setashvatara Upanishad 4.10.
Yeah. Somebody wants.
Another,
You want to read, Prabhu? Okay, continue, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Continue, Prabhu.
another meaning of guna is raw. It is to be understood that the conditioned soul is tightly tied by the ropes of illusion. A man bound by the hands and feet cannot free himself. He must be helped by a person who is unbound. Because the bound cannot help the bound, the rescuer must be liberated. Therefore, only Lord Krishna or his bona fide representatives, the spiritual master, can release the conditioned soul. Without such superior help, one cannot be freed from the bondage of material nature. Devotional service or Krishna consciousness can help one gain such release. Krishna, being the Lord of the illusory energy, can order this insurmountable energy to release the conditioned soul. He orders this release. He orders this release out of his causeless mercy on the surrendered soul, and out of his paternal affection for the living entity, who is originally a beloved son of the Lord. Therefore, surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord is the only means to get free from the clutches of stringent material natures.
Very nice. The last paragraph.
The word Mam Eva are also significant. Mam means unto Krishna, Vishnu only, and not Brahma or Shiva. Although Brahma and Shiva are greatly elevated and are almost on the level of Vishnu, it is not possible for such incarnation of Rajoguna, passion, and Tamoguna, ignorance, to release the conditioned soul from the clutches of Maya. In other words, both Brahma and Shiva are also under the influence of Maya. Only Vishnu is the master of Maya. Therefore, he alone can give release to the conditioned soul. The Vedas, Shetakshetara Upanishad 3.8, confirms this in the phrase Tam eva viditva, or freedom is possible only by understanding Krishna. Even Lord Shiva affirms that liberation can be achieved only by the mercy of Vishnu. Lord Shiva says, Mukti pradata sarvesham Vishnu eva na samsayaha. There is no doubt that Vishnu is the deliverer of liberation for everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Yeah, please fill your attendance without fail. So thank you so much. So only one request I have is 15. I would like you to read the purport of 7.15 before the next class, because it's a long purport. I don't think I will have this done. So if you can read this, we can do it as a discussion, and then we can read the other purports in the class. Is that okay?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So thank you so much for joining in today. And what I will do is I've got partial list of your scores. So let them send the full list. That's why I said, but tomorrow I should get it. Otherwise, latest by Wednesday. I will share it with all of you. And then the second thing is, I will also share with you module 1, all your CBA questions, your memorization verses, and as well as your the OBA questions. Okay, so just print them out and keep them. And the memorization verses, I would request you to at least start doing one verse every week, because it will help you. It is really interesting, because when you after you're done with the Bhagavad Gita, you will go to the other scriptures. The NOD, the Nectar of Devotion, the Ishopanishad. Everywhere you will find references of the Bhagavad Gita, and particularly those verses which we are memorizing. Okay, so you will enjoy it. Okay.
Okay, Mataji.
Thank you so much. Any questions? Okay. So thank you all for sharing your experiences, and I think every class we must engage in some activity like this, so that you will also be able to think through the difference that that we are experiencing as we are trying to progress on this path. So it will help others as well, because, like, for example, some of the words, some of the terms that you're used, makes us think, right? So please, many of you said, it's not a realization, but slowly I'm developing. So that's a beautiful realization, actually speaking. You're not at the end, but you're inching towards. You're making progress very in a determined way, but at your own pace. That's beautiful. So none of us can really rush into it. It'll happen in our own way, depending on our our own abilities and our own attitudes. But there's so much that we have in us, right? So take your own time and help yourselves and help others to evolve and develop. So thank you so much for sharing your experiences, and continue sharing these experiences. Every day we'll spend at least 5-10 minutes, sharing our thoughts with each other. Okay, so thank you so much. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripasindhobhya evacha patita Vishnu namo Namah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare Ram, Hare
Ram,
Ram.
Ram, Hare Hare.
So wish you all a good evening, or whichever part of the world you all are. So thank you so much, and have a super great week until we meet next Monday. Okay, thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Mataji. Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna,
Chandra.
Hare Pranam.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much, Madan.
Hare Krishna.